one, check one, check one. Is this thing on? Alright, I believe you. Okay, I believe you. Um, yeah, from Beetlejuice. Yeah, I don't want to know any of the actors' names. I don't even know if that film's still out there. I used to watch it. I used to like it. Casper. It was similar to Beetlejuice in my mind, man. In his mind, man. Man. Um, no, it was. It was. The ghosts come out of nowhere, and does he shoot himself and fall off the cliff? Did he shoot himself in the house? Did the ghost push him off the cliff? We're not sure. Beetlejuice was scary. Casper was scary, and I was like 5, watching like VHS Disney-esque, doohickeys from the realm of the box of hell. Box from hell. The TV was the box from hell, and here I am on some kind of internet television show. So it's a radio show, now with video, now with audio, now recorded. For thousands of days it wasn't recorded. And to get into the Dozen Dame celebrity, there was one unrequited. Because of politics, man. Politics. I'm not sure what her defense of anything on her administration team or anything like that. I know for me, and in my heart, and so I can sleep at night, wherever. I mean, I was like, well, she wears clothes sometimes, and she's a person too. And then it just auto offed and clicked, tried to explode itself, and people came out of nowhere, thousands of paparazzis. And then it was like I was remembering like when she was, around here, like, and she's younger than me or whatever, and they're all like, Piper Perry, he broke her cherry, he broke her cherry, and I was like, well, today's now, right? And it's 2019. Did Drew Carlson break Piper's cherry? It's like I don't know how in the heck that's gonna fit on world news, world news, world news, world news, world news, world news, or the UN audit of any kind. There was a presidential impeachment about sexual promiscuity with former president's daughter, and she was dropping names, and she was dropping names fast as if she was in church instead of kind of world leader or administration, that might be, and he was stepping down and all sorts of stuff like that. And did they ever mention Piper Perry? Well, I did, like in the end of season 2, and then at points in tits and tats of season 3, and she's been on the Dozen Dames, as far as celebrity status. Well, she really does wear clothes sometime. I really kind of thought she was a person, not a robot, and stuff like that. And so what's the story? Well, it was like 2004, 2005, and I was going down south, just as I had in the 90s, in an attempt to one day make it to Disney World, which I finally got to in 2005. I could have sworn it. Maybe that was 2006. And we'd always stop at that same bed and breakfast, whatever the heck it was, pull off the side of the road. It's like $50 for the night or something like that. And then there's no maid, there's no service, there's no anything like that. You just pay in cash, and that's yours, and this is the key. And I guess she lived in a house like 2 houses over or 1 house over, and she'd go there all the time. And we exchanged numbers, and we were pen pals. And then eventually she's like, well, can I come back to you? You were just at my house. I seen you at my bed and breakfast, or whatever, this like hotel-esque thing on the water. And I've seen plenty of nudie videos filmed there. I mean, these people that do the blue tubes or the blue films or whatever in competition, and while she was number one for like years and years, I didn't really know as, like I said, I knew her as a person. I still kind of know her as a person, as far as within a 10-foot pole. She's kind of like Mackenzie Davis. Like, we really didn't know each other back then. We've been sort of off and on staying each other online, since then. And there was that. And then there was like 1,000 people that went to school that could have sworn she was just a girl, like hanging out here for weeks on end, as like a refugee if something happened south of Mesa Dixon. Could have sworn she was here for, and 1,000 people can, but oh, I didn't have money, so obviously we don't know each other. Obviously, it's like, could you stop filming in that one particular spot, because I used to sleep there, and I think the next time I go to them, I really don't want that spot closed down. And I think her parents' house is literally 2 houses over, and I don't know if they, isn't that still their house? How like, and the people doing the blue films, like the actors in that or whatever, that's kind of shifty, and the cameraman with all the everything else around it is kind of like, well, that's very intimidating. That's very intimidating, and it's very shifty, and it's a very wrong way to go about uh, blue films, which have been around since 1920 as far as the states. 1920, 1930, and it was very popular, and it's a feminine dominated thing back then, and throughout the years, and probably still today, is still a feminine dominated thing. Now, how I'm going to tie that within Boy Scouts, girls and Boy Scouts, and Chiba smoking girls are Boy Scouts too, and Chiba smoking lesbian girls are Boy Scouts too, sort of thing. I don't know. Now, I've mentioned before I spent 6 weeks in the 6 months in the womb as a woman. It's like I really did. Everyone thought I was going to be a girl. They were going to call me. They weren't going to call me Annie, because there was the whole Anne Marie thing from the Grateful Dead, right? But I guess the hospital calls me now and again. Hey, we found your. Is this Annie? Is this Annie? Because we could have sworn you were a girl. Can I look at your penis? But no, stop it. They're like, we're just joking. Okay, you used to be over there. You're over here now. We just thought you'd call. Is everything okay? Yeah, I'm fine. But does he still have the woman parts for pleasure? It's like I didn't have ovaries. I've never had ovaries. These particular scars are from weightlifting when I was like 12. I was topside. They weren't vacuum pressed 700 pounds with, however, probably make them about 1,700 pounds to pick up underwater next to the torpedoes and the Navy admirals and stuff. I was topside. I was going for the Junior Olympics. I was ripped to the teeth, and then I picked something up and I thought it was heavy and it was too light and my intestines fell out my bottom. That's not from where they harvested my ovaries. I've never had ovaries. I've never had mammary glands. And as far as pleasure units, I don't want to get into it on tubes. I think this one might be deleted, except it mentions a dozen Dame. So who was number one? Well, there was Keelan Garcia, Jen Midland, same time. And you spent a much longer time with Keelan Garcia than you did Jen Midland. We weren't sure about her sister. She's like Bush Pierce's sister, you know. I don't even know her name. It might be Barbara, just like everyone else in the family. There's Barbara, there's Barbara, there's Barbara. You know, it's like, okay, I don't know. Okay, I wasn't, just like the vice president. I just found out not too long ago, and I still don't even know his name. I work with Mr. President's daughter, Ivanka, since I was like 4, you know, and they're busy, whatever. I'm not going to talk about anything like that, and I'm getting close to the turn off button. So there was Jen and Keelan and Ivanka and Paris and Bush Pierce. Before that, there was Chelsea Clinton in '96, and then I wound up picking up projects, and they're projects. They're not baggage. Now I didn't go ahead and tell Piper Perry to do blue film. I don't know who did. It's probably her choice. It's probably still her choice. She's probably an attempt to tame men for the female species or something similar. Whatever. Donna Goodchow, women are smarter. Keith Goodchow, Donna Goodchow, women are smarter. Something like that, you know? I've got no idea. And then there was Daisy Ridley. And she really wanted to be in the movies, you know? And we really tried to get her with Star Wars, and I think she really did get Star Wars. As far as the third of the newest, and she's not in Rogue One. Rogue One was an adult film. Now, I've gone over and over and over again. Why is this guy going to the gas station 1,000,000,000 times? You know? It's like, well, that one was here 3 months before and from Desert Storm. And he's about my age, and he was playing If God Was One of Us. Plenty of people have done that. Plenty of people have done that. Cheech and Chong used to go to dead shows all the time. They're like million billionaire, world famous, regular ordinary people, but when they're in the crowd, they're just people, you know. And how many people would notice them? Are you fake Cheech? Are you fake Chong? You know. And there's noise and hooting and hollering and ayo yayo and no, that's another thing. 1995 came around, and beforehand, Jerry had people in his eyes. Jerry couldn't escape the crowd in his eyes. He had just done 40 years ish. It was like 35 years of Grateful Dead shows, and he was haunted by his job. And so they said he may have dipped into heroin. He may have. He may have gone in and out of a coma, sweared clean, and as soon as the entire crowd and the entire world found out he dipped into heroin and it didn't work and almost killed him, everyone in the Grateful Dead said, "Say no to dope." That still goes around. Say no to dope. Don't use heroin. It almost killed Jerry. It may have killed Jerry. Seriously, say no to heroin. What was the other one? Suicide prevention. Do not kill yourself. Don't let your friends kill yourself. Don't joke around about telling people to kill themselves. Say no to heroin. Suicide prevention. I'll be chiming off at about a little bit something more lighthearted. Who was that other project we picked up? Hazel, right? I know her as a person from 2006 to maybe 2012, 2013. Maybe I saw her once that year. That's about it. But from 2006 to 2012, she was like, oh, I guess I'm babysitting again. Aren't you old enough to not? Well, and then she may have gotten handsy eventually when she was old enough. Maybe eventually when she was old enough. So there was that, and how she's still Hugh Hefner's last Playboy, and if that G-Eazy guy starts having sex with her all over again or something similar, just remind her that Hugh Hefner will probably roll over in his grave, and probably whoever the new Hugh Hefner is will probably put a stop to that eventually somehow formally, because she hasn't really fulfilled her bunny contract yet. She's supposed to be a born again virgin. She really is. She really is. And her grandma said she didn't want her to do the whole Walk of Fame on Hollywood everything over and over again. And her parents were vaguely criminal from New Jersey, just getting by World War III. Have you ever seen The Sopranos? Getting by in Jersey in World War III, but vaguely criminal somehow. And then there was her grandma, and then there was what? I don't even know if G-Eazy has a green card, or if he's finished with his work visa yet, is the thing. Not a joke. And what else was there? So those were two projects. There was Hazel and Daisy, and Piper came up to a project that probably before Daisy was a project. Before Hazel was a project, Piper was a project, and we were going to try and it didn't work out, I guess. But that doesn't mean that she's not a dozen dame. Still on Friends, former project. Maybe it's not fizzled all the way. Maybe she's still alive. Hopefully. And what did I pick up since then? Mackenzie Davis, probably 2010, probably before 2010 is when that started. And is she finally in the Terminator 6 movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger? There isn't that skeevy dude that's like 30 years older rolling around in the sack with her on A&E cable television. Still, right? Well, it might be playing on cable television still, but she's not actually filming with that skeevy older dude, is she? Because that was the whole reason why I only watched like most of season 1, and then eventually I started crying. Just couldn't take that damn TV show anymore. And so she's in Arnold Schwarzenegger's, and it's a Terminator, for real. I might have to watch that one. I really might. Since then, well, Monet, yeah, I know. She was 97. She was born in 97. I probably met her in 97. That's before the whole war thing. I probably met her again and 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 then yeah, over. But do not touch was the thing. Her dad was very strict. She's too young. She was just born. She's 7 years younger than you. And eventually I saw her in some big old titties, Maxim magazine. And who else was posing in magazines? There was Chelsea Clinton, there was Ivanka Trump, there was Monet Weir, there was like a whole handful. And they were all out there at the same time, and they were all looking for their man at the same time, or at least you look at the picture, they're trying to get married, or they're trying to get laid, or something like that. It's risque, and they were doing risque, semi, exotic, erotic, pictures in name brand worldwide magazines for the USA. But Monet was one of them, huh? That's never happened before. Jimmy Springsuit Illustrated, Maxim swimsuits of the sports, something similar, yeah. So she was old enough and she was looking for a man. So as soon as that happened, bloop, I grabbed her. Just picked her up digital real quick, put her in the everything, made sight. I don't want to watch me when she's like a toddler with her, because it's a little bit That would put me to sleep for a few months. And I have. What was I supposed to do today? Well, I'll go ahead and chime off in 3, 2, 1.